Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any upcoming videos. Now let's get started. Hey cousins, did you know that during World War II, a group of African American pilots, best known as the Tuskegee Airmen, broke barriers and soared to legacy status? Today, we're diving into the lives of these remarkable individuals, exploring their origins, challenges, triumphs, and lasting legacy. Buckle up, because this is a story you won't want to miss. The Tuskegee Airmen hailed from diverse backgrounds across the United States. Many were born in an era where racial segregation was the norm, facing systematic discrimination from birth. Despite these challenges, they nurtured dreams of flight and service. If that's not the coolest thing ever, like, you still want to serve, you still want to help others while being discriminated against. That says a lot about the men and women who served our country, especially during that era. In 1941, the U.S. Air Corps initiated an experimental program to train African American pilots at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. This was monumental, as it challenged prevailing racial prejudices. The program attracted men who were determined to serve their country even in the face of adversity. From the onset, the Tuskegee Airmen confronted significant discrimination. They trained in segregated facilities and were often met with skepticism regarding their abilities. Despite the obstacles, their resolve only strengthened. Their journey wasn't just about mastering the skies, but was also proving their worth in society that doubted them. I can't even imagine. The Tuskegee Airmen weren't just one person. They were a group of nearly 1,000 pilots and even more ground crew, mechanics, navigators, and support staff. And oftentimes when we think Tuskegee Airmen, we're thinking of the pilots, not the rest, right? But they encompassed all of the areas. And I love that. One of the most famous Tuskegee Airmen was Benjamin O. Davis Jr. He was born December 18th, 1912 in Washington, D.C. His father, Benjamin O. Davis Sr., was the first Black general in the U.S. Army. So you could say breaking barriers, it ran in the family, right? Another legendary pilot was Daniel Chappie James Jr. He was born February 11th, 1920 in Pensacola, Florida. Shout out to Florida. Despite facing segregation in school, he would go on to become the first Black 4-star general in the U.S. Air Force. These men, along with others, had dreams of flying when the U.S. military still believed that Black pilots weren't capable of handling combat missions. But they weren't just dreamers, they were doers. My algorithm is telling me that you're watching, but you're not subscribing. Quit treating me like the cousin you don't like. Subscribe and share. Deployed to the European theater during World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen flew with distinction. They served as bomber escorts, protecting Allied bombers from enemy fighters. Their exemplary performance earned them the respect and debunked myths about African American pilots' capabilities. Amongst the challenges, strong bonds formed among the airmen. They shared experiences, fostered deep friendships, and their camaraderie became a source of strength. They relied on each other, both in the skies and on the ground, creating a brotherhood that literally lasted a lifetime. The legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen extended beyond their wartime achievements. They literally paved the way for the integration of U.S. armed forces and inspire future generations to pursue their dreams regardless of societal barriers. Their story has been immortalized in various forms of media, notably the 1995 HBO film, The Tuskegee Airmen, starring Lawrence Fishburne, brought their story to a wider audience, highlighting their struggles and triumphs. Additionally, documentaries like Redtails Reborn further shedded light on their legacy. Now, just because they were trained and ready didn't mean they were welcomed with open arms. The Tuskegee Airmen still had to fight racism at every turn. Even after earning their wings, many military officials didn't want to send them into combat. Some white officers refused to believe that black pilots could be trusted in battle. I wonder what documentation told them that they couldn't. I'm inserting an eye roll. There were even attempts to shut down the program entirely. See, cousins, one thing a hater is going to do is always hate. This doesn't surprise me. Not one bit. When the Tuskegee Airmen were finally deployed overseas, they were often given hand-me-down planes and forced to fly in the worst conditions than their white counterparts. But y'all know, none of that stopped them. Fun fact, the Tuskegee Airmen flew over 15,000 combat missions in World War II. Their main job was to escort bombers, keeping them safe from enemy fighters, right? And they did it better than anyone expected. So well, in fact, that the bomber crews specifically requested Tuskegee pilots to fly with them because they trusted them more than any other escorts. They were known as Redtails because of their distinctive red paint on their aircrafts. The Germans even had a nickname for them that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. It will be on the screen. Or translated to Blackmen because of their skill in the air. Here's a mind-blowing stat, okay? The Tuskegee Airmen had one of the lowest bomber loss rates of any escort unit in the entire war. Did you hear me? The entire war. Not a single battle, but the entire war. That means they kept more bombers and pilots alive than almost anyone else. This is why they are so legendary. After the war, many Tuskegee Airmen came home expecting respect for their service. But guess what? They faced discrimination. Many were denied jobs in commercial aviation, even though they had more experience than many white pilots. Ugh. But their fight wasn't over. They continued to push for equality, leading the way for a full integration of the U.S. military in 1948, just 3 years after the war. Ooh, I swear I just love us. We not only made changes for us, but we made changes for everyone else. And people say we don't contribute anything but entertainment? Come on now. It took decades, but in 2007, the Tuskegee Airmen finally received the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest honors in the United States. President George Bush personally thanked them, saying the Tuskegee Airmen helped win a war, and you helped change the nation for the better. And that, cousins, is why I am doing this series. Because Trump tried to erase the the Tuskegee Airmen, because they still use them as training material today. He tried to wipe them out completely. And people began to push back. So he brought it back. You can't wipe us out. To the Tuskegee Airmen, we honor you and we thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You didn't just fight a war overseas, you fought a war at home. A war against racism, a war against doubt, a war against the system that told you that you weren't good enough. But you stood tall and you soared higher. You proved them wrong. You carried the weight of history on your shoulders, yet you never let it break you. You protected those who wouldn't protect you. You fought for a country that didn't fight for you, and you still gave your all. Because of you, barriers were shattered. Because of you, the skies became a place where dreams had no color. Because of you, generation after generation after generation can dream, achieve, and rise. Your courage, your sacrifice, and your unshakable spirit, we will never forget. To the Tuskegee Airmen, thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and your legacy. You didn't change history, you made it. And that's why we vow to protect yours. May each and every Tuskegee Airman, pilot or auxiliary, rest in peace. Thank you, Kings. The Tuskegee Airmen journey from segregation to soaring the skies is a testament to resilience, courage, and the unyielding pursuit of equality. Their story reminds us that determination can shatter even the highest of barriers. So we thank the Tuskegee Airmen for their service, their sacrifice, and for paving the way for future generations. Their legacy continues to inspire us. And that's why it's our job, cousins, to make sure that not one person on this planet destroys their legacy. They fought for us. How many of you know airmen or women? I do. I know young ones. Brave ones. Ones that even when family told them, please don't go, they had a higher calling to protect. So it's our job, our higher calling, to protect their legacy. Thank you, cousins, for listening to me tell this beautiful story about the Tuskegee Airmen. If you enjoyed this deep dive into our history, into American history, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until then, cousins, keep reaching for the skies. Bye. My algorithm is telling me that you're watching, but you're not subscribing. Quit treating me like the cousin you don't like. Subscribe and share. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any upcoming videos. Bye, cousins.